the first struggle was being labeled as being too black of a game. I got hit really quickly with, well, what about a Seinfeld game, or what about Friends, or what about a role-playing game or something like that? Why does it have to be, why do all your games have to be black? I said, because I'm black all the time.
Hey everyone, welcome back to We Got Game. I'm your host, AV, and we are powered by University of Dope, the first card game dedicated to hip hop culture. What's We Got Game? It is our interview series highlighting some of our favorite Black and POC game makers. I'm going to introduce you guys to Denonte from Millennial Toons.
Woo! Let's get it.
Yes. Davon from Verified Game.
What's going on, y'all?
And Tanisha from Hillman Game.
Hey
guys, welcome to We Got Game. Now, I want to start off with, how long have you guys been in business? Denonte?
Okay, so I would say since November 2017, that's when I first started prototyping and everything, and I launched by 2019.
Okay, and what is Millennial Toons about?
All right, sweet. So Millennial Toons is a nostalgic version of charades. So if you've ever played charades with TV shows, then you'd be really, really, really good at it, right? So if you know Flavor of Love, Rugrats, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, then you'd be very, very, very good at playing Millennial Toons.
Davon, what's your game about, and how long has it been?
So my game actually just launched this year, February 2020. We started prototyping it about a year ago, and it's called Verified the Game. So it's a social media party game. And basically the premise of the game is that you want to get 50K followers and 50K likes to become verified and win the game.
That sounds legit. I want to be verified.
Me too.
I am a founder and developer of Hillman the Game, which is a nostalgic game based on the show A Different World, and it takes you through 6 seasons of your life at Hillman, where the object is to get from the season premiere to the season finale with the most money, which basically turns into coming out of college out of debt. And I did a soft launch, and I prototyped October 2017, soft launch February 2019, and hoping to drop in a couple of months.
Now, I have a question for Denonte and Tanisha. You guys you have nostalgia, and it's a lot of Throwback Thursday going on, but it's with things that we know already that have been on television. And how do you kind of circumvent any legal issues? Whoever wants to take that one first. Are Rugrats coming for you, or
So the only way that Rugrats would this is a great question, by the way. The only way that Rugrats would come for me is if I did Millennial Toons Rugrats edition. So the fact that we're able to put TV shows, movies, cartoons, and commercials inside of the game as if like on the cards, but you can't actually have the box be. I would have to get permission from whatever TV shows in order to release that type of version.
Hillman the Game, I actually learned by Hello Zumble. They created the Martin trivia card game. They were the only Black game developers that I knew of, so I reached out to them and I asked them straight up, how did you not get sued? And they told me, which was like Deontay said, you're not using the actual name. I'm not, A Different World, the game. It's Hillman. Hillman is a fictional university. I have an illustrator, so I'm not using any pictures or photos from the show. They didn't do any licensing on characters or anything like that. So if they wanted the game at this point, they would have to come to me because I own it and I'm not selling.
That is remarkable. Now I wonder, with something like that now, our new age shows that are popular, are they kind of y'all not gonna come up with a game on us? Blackish, Blackish.
They're trying to lock those down quick. They're like, oh no.
Right.
No. But there's still a way around anything with the trivia being public knowledge and stuff like that. It's just circulating that information that you would get if you watched the show. So yeah, we're good for the most part.
Okay. Now I need to speak to the folks at Martin because it's called Martin. So I need to know because they still successful. That's good. That's good for them.
Yeah.
I think we all want to know that one.
Yeah. How are you actually friends?
So far, so good. So far, so good. Martin himself actually reached out to them. So
so then they're definitely good then.
Wow.
Sure. That's lit. We need to talk to them soon. Now, you guys all have very unique concepts of your game. But what was like the turning point where you're like, okay, I want to make this a game. Whatever feeling you had towards this topic, or did you just go into it saying, hey, I want to make a game, and then you started thinking of points of interest? Like which one came first? Davon, you can start it off.
So basically my game came out of me working with youth that are incarcerated and also high school youth. So I would always go into facilities, and I always like to start off with an icebreaker, and so I would bring games into the youth to play. And what I noticed is that I would bring trivia card games in, and a lot of them wouldn't relate to it because they would be like, well, we don't know what this is, or whether it's a history fact, or they might not know maybe what a TV show was because they weren't around back then. And so from that, it actually made me look around and wonder well, what can they relate to right now in the moment? And I realized that they were always on social media, and we always would talk about Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram. And so that's what made me actually start the whole Verify the Game, because it's based off social media, and it was for the youth that I was working with. And then from there, I would just play test on them at first, and then we went in other places and play test. And yeah, so that's kind of what brought on the idea of Verify the Game. I wasn't jumping into the gaming industry right away. I'm actually in education, but this is what kind of led me into creating the game.
Nice. I see the not kid, but there's a school theme going on here amongst you guys, and I think that's awesome. Denonte, how did you come up with your concept?
Absolutely. Okay. So I was at a game night, and to be completely honest, we just finished playing Heads Up, I believe. So you guys all know what Heads Up is. You go up and you go down. What happened was we ran out of games to play, and I asked my friend, hey, do you have any more games to play? She said to go check her bin. I go in the bin, she had these nostalgic Nickelodeon cards. So they were 1, 2, 3, Ace, King, and all that. So we just finished playing Heads Up. I literally took one and I put it to my head without looking, and I said, describe the TV show, not that, describe the character without telling me the TV show or other character names. So everybody at the game night started giving clues about different episodes and X, Y, and Z. So we really played through the entire Nickelodeon deck. And I think I said this would be a really good game to play. I said this would be a cool game. And then one of the girls said, oh, what would you call it? And I said, Millennial Toons. And literally that was a flashbulb moment for me. And I literally just saw the entire vision. I saw different expansion packs and just how far it could go. But I would say that the turning point was the first time I hosted a successful game night where I simplified the game to the T to where everybody was just able to play and have fun, which is what I envisioned. Because I would say, in all honesty, I went through 6 different prototypes, and my rules were complicated. And you know what the prototyping stage is. You have to make it as simple as possible so that a 10-year-old can play automatically. So once that moment happened, which was summer 2018, I think, then I was okay, I have something.
There should be rules about writing rules, because you have to write them anyway. And with us, we know people are going to play however they want. Oh no, you still have to write rules. Right. Because then there's that one person hey, there's no rules in here. And then you got custom issues. So yeah. Tanisha?
My game concept came from when I was younger. I was raised as an only child, so I had a lot of time to myself, made up and created a lot of games by myself. And board games is one of my favorite things to play. But as I got older, had kids of my own, I noticed that, you know, it's hard to ignore that Miss Scarlet don't look like you. You know, so I wanted to create games that had characters that looked like me. And I didn't want to just stop at one. So I decided to create a board game company, and I wanted to focus on something that felt good. Like I remember having a conversation with my husband and some friends. It was after I lost my job. I was very sad. They came over to pick me up, to give me a pick me up. And we just started reminiscing. We were talking about the Cosby Show. We were talking about Harlem Nights. We were talking about Living Single, Martin, all the shows that we loved watching. And I said, we were playing the game of life at the time. I said, man, this would be wouldn't it be cool if we could play as the characters? Well, an hour and a half into talking and playing the game and reminiscing, I'm still on board games. They're like, okay, if that's what you want, then go ahead. So I did. And it came from my love of our culture. I just wanted to put that out there because most of the games don't look or represent us in the way that I feel that we could do better. So that was the start.
What were some of the struggles that you face, like starting a game?
Can I start? With the first struggle was being labeled as being too black of a game. I got hit really quickly with, well, what about a Seinfeld game? Or what about Friends? Or, you know, what about a role-playing game or something like that? Why do all your games have to be black? I said, because I'm black all the time. So it just made sense for me to want to put something out like that. But I didn't expect all the backlash that I get. I mean, it's not overwhelming. It's not anything that stopped me or is stopping me from it, but it's just surprising to hear people, you know, that share a lot in common with you say, that's too much. You might want to put that back. So that was an emotional challenge.
Davon?
I guess my pitfalls was just trying to figure out how to do it. I didn't really see at the time, outside of Black Card Revoked, a lot of black game makers or that were actually making their own games. I always looked at it just like Hasbro, Spin Masters, those big companies manufacturing games. So I was like, how do I create my own game? And that was kind of the biggest challenge, like trying to research it. I always tell people that I go to Google University and YouTube University, my favorite university in the world. And so I started Googling, I started researching YouTube, and I found interviews with like the Black Card Revoked people, other people that were game makers outside of just being black, but like Cards Against Humanity, Exploding Kittens, those people. And then just from there was able to figure it out. And so that was the hardest challenge, I would say, as far as that.
When I first made Millennial Toons, it was off the premise of all nostalgia. You know what I mean? So there is a balance between like POC different shows and non-POC shows. So I did try to make it like balanced, but I think definitely in the beginning, I didn't know how to market it. So like some days I was posting like a bunch of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and then other days I'm posting like Flavor of Love, but then I didn't want to exclude one group over the other. And, you know, at the end of the day, you need to niche down as quickly as possible. You need to find out who your target audience is. And I think that having a mentor or just like having somebody like to like follow step by step for like how they did it would have been, was definitely beneficial, but it definitely would have been easier to figure out if I had like a blueprint. But I was looking up like Cards Against Humanity and like other card games and other board game companies just to see like what they did.
What did your friends and family think about you coming up with a card game? I know, Tanisha, you were, you know, vibing with your people, and then you're like, I'm gonna keep going. And they're like, all right, girl. So
yeah, they're over it.
Devon, and then, you know, because I want to hear it all. I want to hear the tea, you know.
Well, my friends and family, they actually were kind of like confused because, like I said, I jumped from education, all of a sudden wanted to create a card game. So they wanted to know why did I want to create a card game and what was the point behind it, and how could I successfully like Denonte say, like marketing and everything, market it. And so yeah, it was a lot of trying to figure it out. But once it actually got created and my family saw the ending result, they were like, oh wow, okay, I can see why you wanted to create this, and they saw people playing it and laughing and having fun. Then they were on board and for the ride. And then they helped me market it a little bit and also purchased it from me. So that was good.
That's what I'm talking about. That's that support that you need.
Exactly.
These are great, but the cash money.
Exactly.
Tanisha?
My friends and family were overall very supportive. There was a time when right after I became unemployed, and it didn't take a lot of time for me to say I'm never going back to work for anybody else again, and I meant it. And when I made that declaration, my family was extremely concerned because you know, I'm a mom of 3, I'm a wife, I have responsibilities and stuff like that. I just kept being consistent about it. And once they saw that I was serious, they were 100% behind me, you know, helping me promote. I got a street team and I didn't even know it. I just, you know, it's been really dope. You got to find your tribe. And when you do, transparency and just letting them know what I needed was very vital to them being able to fully support me in the way that is playing out, that I can see how successful this can become and how successful other game developers are when they have their core unit behind them as well. It worked out. Stubbornness seemed to work out for me.
You know what I realized too? I mean, obviously it's not everyone's story, but when you start giving people the receipts, you know, like you're making good on the investment, it's easier to invest in you, like to invest in people, unless you just got like haters in your life and then you need to get them out. But other folks is just like, man, if they see you out here grinding, you have no choice but to stand, you know, or you're whatever. But Tanisha, my question, when we first was introduced to your product, I knew of the clothing line, Hillman, but you are not affiliated with the clothing line.
No.
Okay. You know, because when I first saw it, I was like, oh, shoot. The people with the sweatshirts came out with a game. And
not yet.
So with that, right? Have you had any, not like conversation or talks of collaboration with the people who have the clothing line?
Actually, fun story. I'm excited to tell this story later on in life when I have like headquarters and things everywhere. But I reached out to them when I first started developing him in the game. And I was like, hey, I'm coming out with this game. And I kind of got left on red. But I wasn't mad at it because I didn't have anything. And I talked to my mentors, Jason Gray at Hello Zumble, who is my mentor now because I reached out and asked him a question, and just kept on with it. I reached out to him because I felt, you know, that really like hurt me. I was like, no, I got a good idea. Like, I love them. Like, what am I going to do? And they were like, yeah, listen, you don't have anything yet. So just kind of wait. But hopefully I'll be able to reach out to them. I'm hoping next year because I feel like I'll be in a better position to ask for a collaboration. Now I'm still in learning phases and still kind of going up the ladder to even figuring out how this well-oiled machine is going to be that and stay that. So it's challenging, but when you take pride out of the picture and understand that, yes, it is business, although it's a connected business, because for us as POCs and Black people, we're deeply connected to these projects that we put out. But remembering that they're connected also, and like you said, receipts. At the time, I didn't have none. I got some now, though.
Right.
That consistency is stay on it, and
definitely do. Yeah, I thought you guys were kind of like related, and this is like
that's because you're manifesting it. You see it.
We had a similar situation when we started. Arsha from Tees in the Trap, right? Who really kind of like paved the way for a lot of the graphic tees. We were like in our crowdfunding stage and we were putting it out there and everything. And she told us that she was interested in creating a card game, right? Like just basically to support her brand. And she was like, you know what? But I see you guys out here hustling and grinding. And she was like our first big donation to our crowdfunding. She was like, so it's like literally like if we had started our card game like a month later, it would have been like, wah, 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 wah. So, yeah, that's definitely an interesting thing. Denonte, how was your family and friends?
My friends were very supportive. My friends have been very supportive throughout like this entire journey. I've even like evolved Millennial Toons past the card game, and now I've hosted 2 digital marketing internships during the summertime. So back to back 2 years in a row. So it's I feel like now with my family, at least now they're more bought into the entire experience. Initially, they were also confused. My family was very confused. Like, what are you doing? You're a teacher. What's going on? But my friends have been extremely, extremely supportive since like day one, you know? Oh gosh, I hope y'all can't hear that. I'm so sorry.
We do, but it's fine.
But I do have a similar story though. So back when we were still, I had a co-founder at one point. That's gonna be my advice for everybody. Pick your co-founders wisely, just because you need somebody who's gonna contribute as much as you do. And nobody's ever gonna like match you, but definitely like pick somebody wise, because you don't want to like later on down the road go through X, Y, and Z. But I will say that like right when we first started, that was when the Millennium Tour was just announced. So I had Millennial Toons, and then they just announced the Millennium Tour. So I was sending B2K a ton of different emails, and I was trying to talk to their manager, and I was trying to do like a campaign just to get them looking at like what I had. I didn't even have a product yet. Now I know that's why they weren't paying attention to me. I got, as far as I went, I think that they had me send them a pitch deck. I didn't know what a pitch deck was back then. So I just put like a slide together on Google Slides and just kind of hope for the best. Obviously the best didn't work out because I didn't team up with the Millennium Tour, but it was a great goal that I was trying to jump on. You know what I mean?
Nice. I definitely can co-sign with the picking your co-founders wisely. Like with me and Marion, we started this together. Division of roles definitely helps. So anybody who is watching and they're interested in that, like, if you do have a co-founder, definitely play up on your strengths. I do a lot of our content marketing. I do all of our content marketing. And she keeps, like, I keep it so everyone can see the brand, and she makes it so that the brand can actually survive legally, business-wise, taxes, numbers. Yeah. So does everyone does this solo?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
All right. Now, Denonte, what happened to your co-founder?
It came to a point. So I can say that I officially own 100% of Millennial Toons as of I think December 31st, 2019. So we had when, not to get into too much detail, but when you start a brand with somebody, you want to do it the legal way, the right way, legal Zoom and everything. So that process already cost like a lot of money, but like undoing the process also cost a lot of money. But it was pretty mutual, because it was very clear that there was just more skin in the game from my end, and then my business partner was busy with his career, so it was completely mutual, and there was nothing. I have nothing bad to say, honestly. So it was mutual. It was just expensive.
Okay. Now, Tanisha, you have mentioned about reaching out to the lovely folks at the Martin game. Have you reached out to anyone else to get guidance? And that's for Denonte and Davon. Like, how did you said you wanted the blueprint, but yeah, how have you been able to navigate? Have you reached out for mentorship in other, more experienced game developers? I'm going to start with Davon. Because, yeah.
I tried to reach out to some via like the Instagram DM, but I didn't hear no word back from any. So like I said, I just went to my favorite place, which is YouTube University, and I just started stalking game designers or people, even if not game, but just people in business in general that could give some good insight to the creation of whether it be a company or whatever as far as that. So yeah, I didn't really, after I reached out to the game designers on Instagram and I didn't hear a word back, I just went straight to YouTube and I just started stalking people that I thought would be interesting to follow when it came to game designers or business. So
good old stalking. Denonte?
Okay. I'm sorry, can you repeat the question just one more time for me?
The question about reaching out to other game developers to get guidance.
I reached out to Black Game Makers Association, I think pretty early on, just to get my game like on their platform, because obviously they're growing, they're developing, and I wanted it to be up there. But in all honesty, I went to a lot of I did meet another, it was helpful meeting other game developers as I was going through the process. Major shout out to Rules for Life, Brandon. If you guys haven't played Rules for Life, please play Rules for Life. It's awesome. But he was definitely like my sword and shield with just like navigating through all of this. But for the most part, it was pretty solo. But I would also say utilize Score NYC for legal advice and for just next business steps, like the small business associations in whatever state you live in are definitely helpful and they're free.
Mm-hmm. All right, those are some gems right there. Tanisha?
I also went through the Black Game Makers Association pretty early on. When I found out that there was one, I jumped on their Facebook group and tried to stay engaged. I reached out to Board Game Brothers. So Amari Akil, I talked to him pretty early on in development, and I asked a lot of questions. So anyone that looked like they were a Black game maker, I tried to hit them up in a DM at some point, just to find out what they knew and what advice they would have. Because hindsight is 2020, and I did notice that with the Black game making community, that the information wasn't something that we weren't trying to be like gatekeepers. You know what I'm saying? Everyone that I came in contact was really open about telling what they learned. Which I think was important because you never really want to see, well, I can't say never. I don't like to see people make the same mistakes I've made if I can prevent it. And that has been something prevalent and very important to the progression of my game. So yeah, I'll reach out. I still reach out to people.
So we're in COVID, right? How has it impacted your business? Have you had to pivot? How so? And how far have you had to pivot from like original ideas or thoughts or marketing plans, anything like that? Tanisha? Oh, you want to go first? Not that we can.
What? Okay. I would say, COVID. I think that it evolved Millennial Toons. So now we're called MTDM, which is MT Digital Marketing, and every year for the past couple of years, I've hosted my internship. Last year, I just had the interns working strictly on Millennial Toons. So they were doing I had about 20 of them. So they were doing social media marketing and hosting game nights with me throughout New York City at different bars and different venues, selling literally throughout the city. So that was cool. But COVID happened and everything had to go virtual. So I literally, and if you guys don't know, I am also a graduate student of Columbia University for digital marketing. I've been in a boot camp for the past quarantine pretty much. So I've been learning and perfecting my own skills. So I've been teaching my interns literally everything that I'm learning in school and just what I've picked up throughout the past few years. So I would say that it evolved Millennial Toons to being just like a step, like just like a different direction, which is exciting because I received about like 690 applicants from it because I know how to make the game look fun and the internship look fun, via marketing, but I was able to hire about 60 of them for the summer, and now I have about like 12 or 13 of them like past our 9 weeks now, and they're with MCDM. So it evolved it.
That's awesome. I'm about to apply to be your intern too.
Okay.
Tanisha?
It has been 50-50. It's been half good and half a challenge that I don't want, but I know is necessary. So I had Hillman the game had a lot of struggles with funding because the first thing I did was I went on Indiegogo to do a crowdfunder for the game, and I came in way under the goal. So that meant pushing the game back. And I had guaranteed pre-order, so I had to get the game out. But when trying to acquire funds, it was easier for me to take the game and go touring and have people actually see the game and work on the crowdfunding that way. So when COVID happened, I had to take all of my family and I had to take our resources on my own to make sure that we're getting the pre-order together. So we finally got up the money, and we're like, okay, things have slowed down some, we can focus more. And then I remember the day I pressed the button because I said, all right, we're going to get these pre-orders done. Got the money, whoop, they're on the way. No, they're not, because COVID. So the manufacturers had to shut down and put the game on hold, but it's allowed me time to focus more on little things, and not focus so much on little things, because I can be a perfectionist, and that also is a gift and a curse. So it's allowed me time while waiting for the game to come in to go out. It's allowed me time to tweak things and kind of see where I could simplify the game or simplify the rules, or just focus more on target marketing and working on the website and things of that nature. But I'm also pretty impatient, so it's kind of bugged me that I have to wait. But everything happens for a reason. So all in all, I think the outcome has been pretty good. We needed that slow down so that people could, in my mind, so that people could think about what's important to them. So when they are able to get back together and have those game nights and the game is there, it's just going to be a boost for everybody after that.
Davon, how has COVID impacted you and your business?
So I guess I can rewind a little bit. Originally, I wasn't in the gaming industry. I was in the education, but prior to education, I actually was in TV and film. So the COVID kind of almost, when it came to the gaming part, it kind of helped me, because I was always used to always doing stuff in the TV and film atmosphere as far as production-wise, behind the camera. So even though in the beginning we were going out more, we were playing the game as far as in person, game night, and going to events and vending, being able to move it towards social media and trying to go through almost like the backhand again. So like similar to what me being in TV and film and production is almost like you work from the back, and no one sees you, but everybody just sees the front. So it was actually, it actually helped a little bit. And as far as, and even going through the whole thing, which we went through, what the uprise and people wanting to buy black, and being able to be a black game designer, it kind of pushed more sales. So, and people having to stay home, they need something to do. So COVID kind of actually helped boost sales.
Okay. Now, speaking of gameplay, I want to know what is your most controversial card or point in the game? I should say controversial. A little risque, right? So what is the point in the game, in your game, that gets the consumers most excited? Anyone who wants to take it first.
I guess my thing that gets consumers excited is when they have to do a challenge card. So social media, you have challenges. We see all these challenges on social media, whether it be a dancing challenge, ice bucket water challenge, a eat it or wear it challenge. So people that's the type of tipping point or turning point where people get super excited about picking a challenge card and seeing people do it. And it can be controversial too, because if you do it wrong, like you have to judge who did it right and they get the points. So if you do it wrong, it can create a whole battle. But then also we have a buzzer in the game. The buzzer is our comment buzzer. So we know on social media, people like to comment on everything. So in order to answer a question or do a challenge, you have to press the buzzer to comment. So that can get kind of crazy too, where people are snatching buzzers, throwing buzzers, saying you didn't hit it, I hit it first. So yeah, that's the two controversial points in the game.
A controversial. There's a lot of good points in the game that people that have play tested that told me about. But I guess the biggest one would be the plot twist. Each space on the board has a different function. You can get a salary, you can answer trivia, you can pay rent, and there's these event cards. And the event cards look like this. They're on the space, and it's similar to a chance card in Monopoly. And there's several of these cards, but one card that people can't stand is the plot twist. And this one says, swap all cash with the player to your left. So at any point in the game, much like in a TV series show, things could switch up, kind of throw things off, and you have to see how you adapt to it. But the plot twist card, there's one card in the game that is a plot twist where everybody has to shift money one time. And they hate that, but it's so much fun. It's so fun to watch. I'm a little bit of a jerk when it came to that. I'm proud of that, for real.
I when you said that, I actually I felt deflated. Like, I don't know if you guys heard me, but I was the passing the money over to the person to the left, and
they hate it and they love it at the same time. I love it. I think that is probably going to be something in every game I do. It'll have plot twists, because and the plot twists can be applied even after you've passed the season finale, because one thing about the game is everyone has to finish. There's no you could drop out, you have your choice, but everyone has to finish for the game to be done. It's not first finish, we're done. Everyone has to cross. So while everyone's crossing, plot twist comes out. Someone who has literally just won the top prize for getting there first would have to shift it all the way over. Oh, it's hilarious when you're not fun.
I feel a kind of way. All right. Denonte.
I would say when it comes to challenges, I would definitely say our Family Feud card is like the most interactive and the most like shouting, right? So with the Family Feud card, you draw it and pretty much you're Steve Harvey. So you pick two players and you're pretty much going back and forth giving clues, and whoever gets the point correct, they get the card. So you obviously know how Family Feud works. But I would say it definitely depends on what card is drawn. So a lot of interaction comes from like the Cosby Show. So it's very interesting to see what everybody's like first initial thought now is with the Cosby Show, and like what their answers are, especially after they've had a few shot cards as well.
Denonte and Davon, you both have experience in education. Did you feel at any point kind of like I guess pressure to create games or content that are educational?
No, not me.
Oh, you're like, no. Like, I gave the kids book reports, okay?
I did.
I would say I had to, I think because like I'm a teacher first, you know what I mean? Like, obviously I've been teaching for a few years. I had to be mindful of the content that I put in there. So I knew that I couldn't make it like as spicy. I thought like family game, cool. I have kids. They're all my kids. And I had to like really think like, if they see this and when they see this on the internet, and which granted they found Millennial Toons on YouTube and on just looking me up on the internet, because that's what kids do. And they love playing it. They really do. But I definitely had to be mindful of like the content that was in there.
That's funny. Like for us, because we have the word university, people thought it was, like you can play with kids. And we're like, no, like 2 shirts in there. You really shouldn't play with children. And people would say like, hey, I played with my kids. I'm like, oh, well, maybe you shouldn't do that either. So in the rebranding, just like even like our own personal responsibility, we doubled down on being ratchet. So, so there's no like if you decide to play with your children, that means that it's all on you as a parent. We cannot take any responsibility for that. But we made it like, okay, like the label says 21 plus. So it's intended to be a drinking game. But if you don't drink, we're not going to say, hey, get out of here. No, but we try to like pivot ourselves away from kids just because of that.
I had to end up doing something like that to kind of make sure that my game was able to be played by different generations at the same time. I had the expectation, not necessarily because I worked in education, but because I'm a mom. So I'm immediately looked at as, well, you got kids. Would your kids play this game? And you know, I'm not like most moms, I guess. So it didn't bother me too much. But thinking about other people's children, what we did was on some of the cards that have suggestive content on it, we put a PG-13 so the parents could take it out if they're going to play with the kids. And we also put house rules on the back that kind of give suggestions as to how you can change the game up. So it can be a drinking game, or it can be, you know, something that you play with kids. I played this game, I took it to my daughter's 3rd grade class and they played it. But I've also had game nights where, you know what I'm saying, if you get it wrong or you call somebody out of character, you got to take a shot. So having that versatility has been really important. But yeah.
Nice. Now, I want each one of you to describe your game using 5 words or less.
Nostalgic, competitive, fun. Millennial Toons.
Pow.
Social media party game. Verified the game.
We're going to put the little words together, like a hashtag. I feel like you was cheating a little bit. When we got like you were there and you was just like.
I would say fun, Black, nostalgic, lit, and unique.
Nice. Okay. Now, I love the idea of nostalgia that we're all been like that vibe. Do you have any concerns of your target audience kind of growing out of it? Because, you know, even though they may be nostalgic, they may forget certain things because, you know, you're not as sharp as 50 where you at 30.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For me, I don't. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm all talking like we're cousins. We are now. We're all cousins now. I just want you to know we're cousins. But for me, it just gave me a different challenge to kind of address. So like with things that we love, we want to keep them alive. So that was one of the things I wanted to fix when it came to board games. We essentially want to fix a problem. There's something that's not there and we want to, you know, make sure that we provide it. So for me to make sure that we kept having people go back to where it started, I just inserted things into the game that will make them want to kind of look like you go down a rabbit hole when you go on Google anyway. So if I give you something to search for, you'll figure everything out on your own. So on the cards for trivia, there's the season and episode that you can find the answer. If anyone wants to kind of go back and forth and argue, I kind of bring it back like, okay, go check the receipts, basically. And with my game being multiple choice, you know, it's a toss-up. Half the time, they don't care. As long as they're having a good time while they're doing it. But I love the fact that with creating games, I'm able to kind of trick people into doing something they wouldn't necessarily do on their own. So someone that wouldn't know anything about a Dwayne Wayne or a Whitley Gilbert is now playing this game is like, Ron and Dwayne did what? And now you watch one episode and now you done picked up something different. So that's how I attacked it. And retro was always in. People always want to go back. So I don't see it as being something that's like, it's a part of our history, you know, and history is always relevant one way or another.
Now, in terms of business, what is one tool that you feel has been clutch in growing your business?
You got good questions. I don't
Thank
understand.
you.
We were fully prepared. I feel like we got a lot of but it's good. It's good. Spicy. I like it. One tool for me that's been clutch has been just the internet for research. I research a lot. YouTube, Google, any search engines, Wikipedia not so much because it's touch and go, but any open resources that have been available virtually has been my saving grace.
I gotta kind of go over Tanisha as far as like my game is a social media game. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anything you put on there, anything that goes viral, because we have viral sensation cards, any hashtags that you guys use that's going crazy, I put that in the game. Like we got one card that might say, what does the hashtag you only live once? How do you say like the hashtag you only live once? And it's YOLO. So like those type of things. So definitely, like you said, like the internet and social media, that's the clutch tool. Everything you guys put out on social media, I sit down, I sort through it, and then I see which ones catch more in the game, from easy cards to hard ones that people might not be focusing on too much, and that's what helps with the game.
Mm-hmm. I would say utilizing the apps on my phone has been clutch. So my favorite app is Inshot. And I literally made, like, I'm not going to lie, I made like all content for Millennial Toons for the past few years off of Inshot. I taught my interns Inshot. Like, I just think that it's super easy to use. The post is going to come out looking great. You just got to get some stickers and, you just got to play around with it. Also, I would say the app Create is how I created the MT logo and how not going to lie, I created the cards off of literally my phone. I created the game off my phone. I really did. And then just like sent it over to my computer and just like put it together. And I'm going to drop another gem for our future fellow game makers, who's watching this. If you go to boardgamesmaker.com, you can get very quick prototypes sent to you within like 7 to 10 days. So all you have to do is digitize it either on your phone or on your laptop, upload it, pick out how many cards you want to order, and then you can get a game for maybe like, I don't know, like $50 or something like that. Like ship landed within like 7-10 days or whatever. You're going to go through a lot of prototypes to try to like know what the game is going to be first so that you just save some money. But boardgamesmaker.com is clutch.
Nice.
Oh, and Canva. Canva has been a help for me. Canva.
Yeah.
Have you heard of PicMonkey?
Yes, but I haven't used it.
PicMonkey, like way back in the day before even this card game. But they definitely switched over to Canva because Canva, even on the free Canva, you're still able to save images. PicMonkey, from my understanding, I think you can save the images and like come back and edit later.
Yes.
Once you're in the paid program, I believe that's how PicMonkey is.
I love PicMonkey because like if I need something transparent, PicMonkey is where I go. That is like a game changer.
That is the major key that PicMonkey has versus Canva. But if you do have the paid version of Canva, you can have the transparent background.
That was the thing that made me get the paid version of Canva, was being able to make things transparent. And taking the background out. Oh my God.
You could even use before I knew about PicMonkey, I was using remove.bg and it's like remove.background. That's another tip gem for everybody. Remove.bg will literally take whatever image, like take the background out of it. So if you are, so remove.bg, you could use it on your phone or on the computer, and it's gonna work.
Yes.
And another one that I like Kapwing. Kapwing it's more as a desktop client, but it's basically has all like meme templates. You have to go and
my kids use Kapwing.
Yeah, you can create your own memes like really, really quickly with it.
Oh, drop that one in.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah,
And
like
cats
the,
are
the memes are the truth. Everybody like a good meme, boy. Everybody.
And like Facebook downloader and like Twitter downloader, so you can get like the videos and or the popular pictures or whatever is going on, and then meme it to tailor to your audience.
There's a oh my gosh, it's a command, like you have to go into your command prompt on your computer, but it's a way that you can download videos from YouTube. It's a whole lot safer than going to those sites, and the quality comes up, and you can like put it into anything. I have to find it and DM you. I'll have to find it. I think it's YouTube DL or YouTube downloader. It's something like that. But when I find it,
I do use YouTube downloader.
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely if it's something different, drop the link because we'll put it in the show notes.
There's one called, I think it's Avery. I switched computers, so I don't have the app anymore, but it was like $20. It was like Avery or Arai, something with an A. If you type in like something with an A and then like YouTube converter on Google, then you'll be able to find it. It's like a red circle. So pretty much you download it to your desktop, you take the URL, you put it in, then you get the YouTube video, and then you open up your AirDrop and then you just drag it over, and then boom, you have it on your phone within like 60 seconds or less.
Nice.
I love it.
Now, we're dropping all the gems, all the tea. In your experience, in your travels, your journey as a Black game maker, have you noticed any advantages or disadvantages? And if so, what do you think they were?
I've had advantages of just being present for people to support. I think in my experience, a lot of people didn't even know that there were other Black game developers or Black game companies. So I was able to kind of be the gateway to them finding out other games and giving someone an opportunity to support something like that. So it's been great. It's been great. Just putting myself out. I was scared to put myself out there. I was like, no one's gonna want it, no one's gonna buy it. And then I realized that was stupid. So once I decided to actually come out, I found that so many other people wanted to usher companies like that. They want to be there. They want to be a part of the story that gets told about Black businesses that thrive. So putting myself out there and just seeing that kind of community come forward has been amazing.
Like I said, I haven't been in the field long enough. So everything that I've seen so far has been an advantage, and I think it's because of with the whole pandemic happening and the whole thing of being a game designer, especially being a Black game designer, and everybody wanting to buy Black and support Black at the moment. Hopefully it'll go on forever. I'm hoping that it stays outside of just what's going on right now, but it'll keep trickling until years and years to come where people want to support and buy Black. So when it comes to my travels as a game designer and any advantages or disadvantages, I haven't really gotten any disadvantages yet, but I feel like once the world opens back up, I'm hoping I don't experience it, but it might come once the world opens back up and I'm able to get back out there and start vending and playing games again.
Okay, all right. Denonte?
I would say for the advantages, like Davon just said, like during a time right now, like I think that we are getting like a lot of support and a lot more people are more attentive to what we've been doing for X amount of time, right? I would also say that February is also like Black Christmas because in February, your sales are going to skyrocket, honestly. That's something I saw this year, definitely. Especially, and I was also doing more game nights during February too, right before COVID. But I would also say maybe a disadvantage, getting into those retail stores, right? So last year I did a few gaming cafes out in New York, honestly. And if you ever go to like one of those gaming cafes, like as a Black game developer, there's a certain niche crowd there. Like they're very board game heavy, right? So it was challenging trying to persuade the owners to let Millennial Toons have a home in their facilities, honestly. But if you look around, it's like, well, how did everybody else get in here? You know what I mean? Because it's like more like local designers and everything. So you definitely have to work twice as hard to get into like those niche retail spaces.
Now, we have been dropping gems all night, but I have one question to ask you guys. What would you tell someone, like one thing, who wanted to do something similar? Like one piece of advice that you would give to a budding game developer.
Deonte, I'm gonna let you go. So your hand up. Nope, hands up. You do it.
Okay. I'm gonna say, invest a significant amount of time into market research before you even begin, and ensure that there is a market, and ensure that you can identify your target audience first, and start your social media up and build up that platform first.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Tanisha going?
Oh, I was waiting because mine is deep. I'm gonna tell you right now, mine will get you in your feelings. I'm just saying.
Okay, well, go for it. I'm trying to get my feelings.
My advice would be to establish early on that you are worth great things.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about what you want. I spent a lot of time in my whole life talking about what I didn't want, and then having to meet those things I didn't want because I talked about it so doggone much. But when I started to really tell myself that I can do this, I'm worth this, I'm worth a legacy, my people are worth great things that I can produce, just knowing that you are enough, that was the best start. Because I came from a point where I didn't think I was anything because I didn't have anything. I didn't have any money, didn't have a degree, didn't have a job, didn't have this, didn't have that whole bunch of stuff I didn't have, instead of focusing on how much enough I already was. So that would be my advice.
Gems. You are worthy.
I told you I'm a poet. I get you in your feelings.
Yes.
I'm good at this.
Davon, no pressure.
I know. I'm like, mine is similar to Tanisha, but not that deep. I don't know if mine's that deep. Mine's is just, just being fearless and kind of just doing it. I feel like similar to like Tanisha said, a lot of us kind of stop ourselves from saying we can't do this, we can't do that. And mine's is just like, just do it. Of course, you want to have a plan when you execute whatever you do, but mine's is just go forward and just do it and make it happen. Because a lot of people, like I said, they hold themselves back from doing anything in life because they're so scared to even try it. So try it and do it, and execute it with a great plan, and have actionable steps. Actionable steps. That's what I say. Everything, you can talk about stuff, but you have to have actionable steps.
Yeah.
Yes.
Start with and starting with what you have. Like, I have seen a whole lot of business owners, first time business owners, I gotta get this, and spend so much money thinking you need everything and not scaling back and looking at what do you have? What can I start with? What can I do with no money right now? And one thing you can do is locking down that Instagram name. You know what I'm saying? You got an idea for it, lock down that Gmail, whatever you can put your hands on that's free first, even if it's a thought, write down that idea, record it, see yourself saying it in video, see yourself. I used to practice doing interviews when wasn't nobody interviewing me. Just sit down and just get ready for it. So start with what you got.
But I want to ask you guys, because like I said, we are University of Dope, the first card game dedicated to hip hop culture. I have to ask you guys, what is your unpopular opinion about hip hop? Unpopular opinions are welcome, so I won't shut your mic off if it's bad.
Who's going first?
I'll do it. My unpopular opinion of hip hop is originators. those who were alive during the originating days of hip hop should really take it easier on newer artists, because there was a time when you were making noise too, and no one understand what the hell you were talking about, and you were just expressing yourself the same way, even if everyone doesn't agree with it. I think that the older generation should kind of ease up on the new artists, because if you give it a chance, it's fire. Just like and in reverse, like younger people will be more open to listening to older hip hop if you didn't say, "Oh, y'all don't know nothing." You know what I'm saying? If you give them a chance to listen to what they're listening to, and then go ahead and be like, "Oh, you know where that sample came from?" But throw on some Mobb Deep. Now all of a sudden they know who Mobb Deep is. So I would say ease up. That's my unpopular opinion. People don't like it when I say that. They be like, "No, hip hop." I get it.
I agree though. Just have their fun. Don't be all Ricky.
Right. Like when you think about it, like they talk jack about jazz, and jazz helped formulate everything we got. And they was like, "Ew, what is this?" Mm-hmm. We were all there. All of us made noise.
We all started at the bottom. Now we're
Oh gosh, AV, I feel like you're gonna get me for this one. My unpopular opinion about hip hop is that I like new school hip hop more than old school hip hop. Is that bad? I don't know.
No, okay.
Guys.
The unpopular opinions are welcome, but now when you say new school and old school, right? Because we're millennials. Old school is Drake now.
Oh,
Drake is around for 10 plus years. So it's like, how new are we talking? Are you talking?
T-Pain is old school now.
I know.
I'm talking like maybe like 92 and lower.
Okay.
So, you know what I mean? Like, like
you're not with like the Big Daddy Kanes, but you do but do you include Drake in new school or old or middle school? Middle school.
He's middle. He'd be middle. He's like in like that transition period for hip hop. I would say like that hip hop pop era.
That's a fair assessment. A lot of people don't like they appreciate hip hop more like 90s, like golden era, where it became more solidified than the others. So yeah, it's fine.
She went out. I guess my opinion would be if Tupac and Biggie Smalls were alive today, would they be the greatest rappers that ever lived how we say they are now? That's my unpopular opinion when it comes to hip hop and rap. Because I feel like if they were alive today, I don't think they would be I don't think they would be great as we put them as when they were back then. Like I feel like as an artist you have to change with the times, and I don't feel like they would have been able to change with the times. I feel like Tupac would have kind of transitioned out of rap into acting because he was on the right path to be a great an established actor, and I feel like Biggie Smalls would kind of fade into producing tracks and things for other artists. So I don't feel like they would be considered the greats as we call them back then, or as we say now, because they died so early. So we don't know how the music would transition. So that's my opinion.
That is definitely a good one, because it can be argued, let's say the history of Bad Boy and how their artists, even though they have great artists, have kind of like, withered a little bit. Right. That happened to Biggie as well. So yeah, that wasn't a bad opinion. I respect it. Now, all right, we're coming to the end of our show. And do you have any plans for the future, guys? Like, can we get a little bit of gems, a little bit of what's the secret expansion?
I can say that.
Drop what's coming out.
Okay. Amy?
Oh.
Okay. So if you are interested in digital marketing or just career building or X, Y, and Z, then definitely hit up MTDM, which is MT Digital Marketing, and I will physically teach you everything I know, and I will give you a ton of different gems. You'll still work on Millennial Toons as a case study, and as a case study. But we do have expansion packs on millennialtoons.com that you will find MT Not Safe for Work. You will find the MT Gen Z game. And for this holiday season, you will definitely see about 3 different versions from like October to December, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Davon?
You said any gems or anything's coming out?
No, anything that's coming out, give us something for the people to look forward to.
Well, I'm dropping our expansion pack next year. So it's not this year, but it's next year, 2021. And we'll be adding more challenge cards to the game. So TikTok kind of came into this whole world during COVID-19 where people on TikTok, they doing savage, they telling you to do all that stuff with the hands and the arms. So definitely look out for that. In 2021, we're going to add some TikTok challenges to the game so you guys can get your dance on and your TikTok on.
All right. Tanisha, what's up next?
Well, what's up next is waiting for the manufacturer to get back on board so we can get these pre-orders out. Once the pre-orders go out, I'll be working on the holiday season, and hopefully the pre-orders get out in time for HBCU holiday season, which is homecoming. Here in Columbia, we have 2 HBCUs. Columbia, South Carolina, we have 2 HBCUs, and their homecoming is around October, which is also around my 40th birthday. So looking forward to that. Christmas season, looking forward to having more games to come out, more copies of Hillman coming out. But Hillman is just the first game of In All Seriousness. That's the name of my company. In All Seriousness, like TV series, and a play on In All Seriousness. But I don't want to give away too much. We'll talk after this. But there are other games coming out, dope ones. Yeah.
All right, I'm excited. Now, even though you guys all have your handles and your name, shout it out. Where can we find you on the interwebs?
At Millennial Toons. At Millennial Toons.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go to Facebook and Instagram. You can go ahead and verify the game. So it's verify the game.
And that's Instagram and Facebook.
Yep, same across the board. Yep.
Same thing with Millennial Toons?
Official Millennial Toons on Instagram. On Facebook, and Millennial Toons across all platforms for everything else.
Okay.
And for me, it is Hillman the Game on Instagram and Facebook. And you can pre-order the game and find more about my company in all seriousness at iasgames.com.
I want to thank you guys all for watching another episode of We Got Game. And thank you to all of my panelists. And make sure you follow them and make sure you follow us at University of Dope. Until next time, peace out.